here filming at Silverstone, looking ahead to the British Grand Prix. I'm joined by Richard, I'm joined by Joe. Bros, talk to me, how are we feeling? We're here.
It's good, man. Home race coming up.
Yeah.
What a big week. It's, yeah, I love it. I love the British Grand Prix.
100%. How does it feel?
Well, look, Carlos Sainz's last win, in and only win. This time last year, we're going for the double. Let's go.
But again, Sergio, I think he's a man who's clearly, he's under a bit of pressure, but we all know how good Sergio is. And to be perfectly honest with you, Silverstone is an infamously high degradation circuit along with Bahrain, and Sergio is the king of that.
Richard, hello. What a day. What a day.
I mean, it's just, as I said, British Grand Prix, one of my favourite weekends of the year. I've had a great day, enjoyed myself a bit, and yeah, watched some fantastic qualifying.
It has been unbelievable, hasn't it? Of course, we are going to talk about it. Max Verstappen. I mean, who else was it going to be?
I mean, yeah, should we pretend we're surprised? I mean, let's be honest, you know, even when it started drizzling, everyone was still like, yeah, Max is probably going to do it. But many other surprises. McLaren, where on earth has that come from? You know, not just Lando, but Oscar Piastri, a rookie here, first Formula One Grand Prix at Silverstone. Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Is that because they had upgrades? And we obviously know they had upgrades coming this weekend, but upgrades of that magnitude to take you to P2 and P3 on the grid?
You kind of had to say it has to be, because it's not like one of them has done an exceptional job. I mean, there's other teams where you clearly got one driver outperforming the other at the minute. But, you know, if you actually look at it, in terms of a percentage of lap time, to actually gain half a second is not actually that much. So it could have been those little things that they find in the wind tunnel back at the factory. But either way, to be honest, apart from the fact that it's nice to see a British driver starting P2, it's good for the sport, because, you know, with the same procession with Red Bull and then Merc and then Ferrari and everything else, it's nice to see someone different up there.
And it was Lando at one point, he was fastest on the grid. So they were going absolutely mental, and then just to see him and Piastri bring it home for second and third for tomorrow, it was amazing. But Mercedes, not such a great day. They look decent going around, but when you look at the numbers, it tells a different story.
To be perfectly honest, so yeah, you're right, they look decent and it looks pretty planted and everything, but the numbers tell a different story. But the thing is, Lewis has a habit of going well here in the races, and we've seen that not just once, not just twice, not 3 times, but many, many times over the years. So honestly, I'd say Lewis is a bit of a dark horse for tomorrow. He just goes well here. You know, I don't know what it is. I think this is one of his most successful tracks in Formula One. You actually, the numbers, I think he's won here 8 times, something outrageous. So I think he's going to be a bit of a dark horse. George, yeah, you know, same deal, just struggled like Lewis did, and I'm sure he's going to have a good day tomorrow, because honestly, he's matching Lewis like for like at the minute. So, yeah, my opinion is don't watch the one lap pace too much, I think.
Sergio Perez going out in Q1, 16th he starts on the grid tomorrow. I think it's the 5th week in a row that he has not managed to make it to Q3. There's a big problem going on here with Sergio Perez.
I go back to a stat that I shared on the podcast a couple of weeks ago, something which people need to now start respecting a lot. Valtteri Bottas, 100% Q3 record with Mercedes. And, you know, okay, Hamilton won all those championships, and we're comparing Verstappen's dominance to Hamilton's dominance, all that. But the difference was for Lewis. Lewis had a constant rear gunner there when he needed it. Okay, Valtteri, of course, competed at times and everything. And then when the season went, and it was obvious he wasn't going to win the championship, of course, they then had the case where he'd back up Lewis. We all remember when he won his first Grand Prix, came from last to first in Bahrain on the heaviest deck circuit of all. So, again, Sergio, I think, will be a bit of a dark horse. To beat Max, don't think so. But he's still a podium contender for tomorrow, in my opinion.
Okay, it's just something that we have to look at, because it is becoming quite often. And as you mentioned, as a partnership, you need to have a good second driver that is there or thereabouts to help you defend. It just so happens that Max is so great that he doesn't actually need much defending. But there will come a point where he might need it. Ferrari today, I think it's 4th and 5th, isn't it? 4th and 5th finish for today. Again, not really setting my world on fire.
Yeah, but they didn't make any mistakes.
Yes, we're yet to have strategy come into the mix.
No, but jokes aside, because a team like Ferrari shouldn't be making mistakes, and the reality is the fact that we're even joking about it is almost insulting to the legacy of Ferrari. But yeah, I would say a relatively solid day at the office for them. I think that's kind of where they are. I think at the minute they're not as fast as the Red Bulls. They're probably faster than a few others, and I highly expect them to just circulate, and everything will just be quite normal tomorrow, unless it rains.
Unless it rains. We're not actually expecting rain tomorrow. I think we had our downpour today, which was just too much. Alex Albon, P8. I think it's good. Do you? I had someone tell me he was going to finish pole today.
To be honest, you look at his form in practice and you'd almost be disappointed with P8. No, but Alex, look at the way that kid's performing. If you could say right now, I just potentially mentioned that Alex Albon is having a bad day with P8. I mean, that is like, when you actually look at where they were at the end of last year, the beginning of this season, to actually even say those words, I think sometimes you have to take one step back and just look at where you were and what you actually expect. He's been killing it all weekend, though. He's been absolutely phenomenal. And the run of form that he's on, honestly, he's like a Premier League striker who can't stop scoring. He kind of, I tell you what he reminds me of. I don't know if you remember Amir Zaki when he was at Wigan just killing it in the Prem, right? He's like the Amir Zaki of Formula One right now. That boy is just unstoppable.
There was a hell of a lot of Williams fans here today. I've had him finishing pole. I've had him coming within the top 3 today. I've had him for the championship today. So literally, there is a lot of Alex Albon fans and Williams fans. So hopefully he has a great race tomorrow. Aston Martin, not the best day either. P9 for Alonso, Stroll going out in Q2.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Stroll is, we weren't really expecting much in the first place. Again, tricky conditions, and yeah, it's unfortunate. Alonso, you always know he's a master of extracting more out of a car than he actually can. I think P9 was relatively fair based on their practice pace. About tomorrow, we all know Alonso is a bit of a genius at extracting the most out of a bad situation. So if it becomes mixed conditions, I think that wily old head on him is going to be quite useful.
All right, and before we wrap up, I need to get your prediction for tomorrow. Tell me, P1, P2, P3.
I mean, P1's getting a bit boring, right? Let's be honest.
It's not for me as a Red Bull fan. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean, Max is probably going to win it even if it rains. And to be honest, there's actually quite a few Dutch fans here, which is actually quite impressive. So now I go P1 Max, and then I'm not sure about McLaren's race pace, if I'm perfectly honest. I mean, there's one thing making a car go fast, but you have to make the car go fast for a long time with the degradation and everything, especially somewhere like here. And honestly, I reckon P2 for Perez and P2, yeah, I think he'll be okay, especially in a situation like here. I'm going to go for one of the Ferraris for third, and I'm going to go for Leclerc. I think something will happen to somebody at some point, and I can see them making the most out of it. But to be honest, predictions can always be wrong. So
they're usually wrong. Mine are usually way off. All right, well, you heard it here first. We've got a double Ferrari. Sorry, we've got a double Red Bull and a Ferrari as the prediction tomorrow. We'll be catching up with Richard tomorrow more when we are back for race day at Silverstone.
We're here filming at Silverstone, looking ahead to the British Grand Prix. I'm joined by Richard, I'm joined by Joe. Bros, talk to me, how are we feeling? We're here.
It's good, man. Home race coming up.
Yeah.
What a big week. It's, yeah, I'm loving it. I love the British Grand Prix.
100%. How does it feel?
Well, look, Carlos Sainz's last win in and only win this time last year. We're going for the double. Let's go.